hell no. Now that's better. This is your president, Ms. Entertainment, and welcome to the Power Hour. We getting ready to kick this thing off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, y'all. What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Ms. Entertainment. I am your president of the Real Ass People Society. So welcome to the Power Hour. We are live every Saturday at noon on Terradome Entertainment Radio, where we play the best hits from old school to new school, hip-hop, R&B, and more. So go to terradomeentradio.com, click on the Listen Live button, or tune in on TuneIn or Live 365. If you don't catch us live, you can catch the replays on terradomeentradio.com or on all your major podcast apps. But it's always best to catch us live because Ghetto Genie introduces the old school countdown. So if you want to hear some of the best of the old school music, join us live every Saturday at noon on Terradome Entertainment Radio at terradomeentradio.com. You know, I can't read sometimes. And also follow the conversation on IG at powerhour_raps_crew. And of course, I'm not in the place alone, even though I'll be trying to fire my damn engineer. Let's introduce my chief entertainment officer, DJ Talented.
You can't fire me, woman, because your show won't go on.
Get on my goddamn nerves. Lord,
anyway, this is DJ Talented in the building. You know what my famous saying is it's better to be above it than under it. You dig?
Yes. And in the studio, we got the actress, Miss Jamaya Powell.
Hey. Boop.
And it's coming up late, the lovely Miss Denell Porchè on that CP time. Trying to get her there, Lord.
Forgive me. Hey, y'all.
You know I'm going to bust out every time.
She going to bust every time. Every time. Oh, my gosh.
I was like, she texted me early this morning. Like, what the hell?
I did. You know, it's a difference between 10 minutes. So I was like, I have to leave at 11:20 and not 11:30. But anyway, it's okay. Yes.
It's okay to be early. What did Dr. Lee say? When you're on time, you're already late.
Correct. Yes.
One of my favorite movies. But anyway.
Love it. Yes.
How was the week, y'all?
I'm loving
we had
this
a short week.
Weather. Yeah, it's a short week, but I'm loving the weather right now. I'm like, please, can we have no humidity till August? Or September.
Happen, but sounds good.
It's been beautiful outside. So I've been loving the weather and just loving the space and just loving on me, being very gentle, being guided by gentleness.
We love that.
Yes. You gotta pick a fruit, and just go with it. Pick a fruit and go. So yeah, anyway, that's it.
I was trying to be in the house. I spent too much money Memorial Day weekend.
What you say? I gotta sit down.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to lock myself in the house.
We were off of Memorial Day itself, that Monday, because we were trying to make it out to the park. No, it just did not happen.
That was crazy.
Supposed to have met somebody. They were asleep. I ain't gonna say, but I'm pointing over here.
Don't do that. How about this? Look, where I work at, they confused me. So I thought I was off on my regular Wednesday. They were just like, well, because you had Memorial Day off, then you got to come in the next Friday. Yeah, I just got a new position and love my environment. Shout out to my environment right now. Because it's like reflecting everything that I've intended, right? For this moment. And so yeah, they tricked me. So I thought I was gonna have a rest day at Wednesday.
You gonna bring your ass in. You off on Monday, but guess what? You gotta make that day up.
I said, oh, and I have so much stuff planned, right? I had my tags, they ain't came. I was like, what is happening? So I looked at my supervisor. She was like, so, for next time. No, I said, if you telling me I need to come in, I'm coming in. But I was like, damn. But anyway, God is good. They snatched that real quick.
Well, yeah, because I still had to work. We was off that money, but you still got to work that rest of that week.
Yeah, they tricked me.
But it was I don't know. It just, as Black people, when we're on these people's jobs, we code switch. And I swear to God, sometimes they be trying to push you to make that real you come out. And then they be looking like, clutching pearls and shit. And I was like, but you asked for all this by coming at me with the stupidness or confusion. I don't do confusion. I just don't. I don't.
Right.
It got to the point with this manager. I said, I need you to be quiet.
Oh,
I need you to be quiet. Because I was close to saying, I need you to shut the fuck up. I really need you to be quiet right now.
Sound like you on the streets.
He was trying to bring it out of me because he was like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nigga. I need to figure out. They brought me into a project, but then they're looking at me for the answers. Like, motherfucker, y'all brought me into this shit late.
Right.
But you're looking at me for the answers?
Right. Yeah. Don't play victim and do this and demand at the same time. Don't do that. Don't do
So
that.
Teresa, it's like, wait. So, and it's like, well, such and such said, it's like, I don't do such and such. I don't do assuming. I go to the source if I want to know, because how I look like somebody, my director asked me, so what does this group do? Well, somebody that's not in that group told me that group did this.
Yeah.
That makes no goddamn sense. Why not go to the group? Hey, what the fuck do y'all do?
Right. Sometimes people don't think think beyond their.
Yeah, that shit is crazy.
You find out how people show up in life when you work on projects. I don't know how you do it, because I go in, work, and leave. I work within a community, but it's just like I manage my own group of people. So do my stuff and get up out of here. So I look at people with work at these corporations and stuff. I'd be like, how do y'all do that?
Girl, then they call you 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, so late. But
Call me after work. I'm off the clock.
Don't call me. Right. Don't call me.
I was like, don't call me on Mondays, Wednesday, or after 5 for something that can wait. Because Mondays we trying to figure out, trying to recover from the weekend, and everybody, because on Fridays people dump shit. So so Mondays you're trying to figure out what's got dumped and what do I need to respond to.
When you mean dump, what does that mean?
Get shit off their plate. Okay. I sent you the email, even though it was like 4 o'clock. It was on a Friday at 5 o'clock.
That's slick. That's slippage.
Because they get it off their check. It's a check.
Oh my goodness.
They slick like that.
Well, I appreciate people, because I found out there's a particular lady I had met. She still got a flip phone. She said, I ain't participating in that. Once I get off of work, I'm not connected. And I said, I appreciate that. I might have to go.
Flip phone. My grandma got one of those. We had to find a flip phone for my grandma.
How old is your grandma?
She's 80 something.
Okay. I was about to say, because it's getting to a point where grandma's is like 40. I'm like, 35.
No, my mama is in her 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Late baby.
Yeah, I was a late baby.
One of the oops.
I was very much an oops.
She said, wait a minute, I got to come through. Hold on. One more.
She go to tell your dad to see what happened was.
Right. That's what she gets. She kept going back to Jamaica. Thought she was having fun. She kept going back.
And that club shot up. And then here you go.
Can't stop. I can't go back. Look, I can't stop.
Oh my God.
Craziness. So this is Pride Month. And of course, we support and encourage everyone to live their life out loud and live it the way you want to live it. The one thing I admire from your generation is y'all gonna do what you're gonna do, and you're gonna respect the fact that I do it.
Yeah.
Now you might not agree with my choices, but you will respect who I am.
Yep.
So that's the one thing I do, because in my generation, it was hidden. You didn't talk about it. And then I even look at it being in the military. When I first came in, it's like they were,
Don't ask, don't tell.
I'm trying to think when I came in. I think it was still, they were still trying to prosecute folks. And then while I was still in, it was that don't ask, don't tell. And then I would believe it was President Obama that got rid of all of that shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, let people be. It kills me. Why are you worried about what's going on in my bedroom?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Now, Jamaya, you identify as queer, non-binary?
Yes.
What
So when I say queer, like queer is like encapsulates my sexuality. So like some people be like, oh, you're a lesbian. I'm like, not really, but like I fucks with them. The lesbians, that community's cool. I just don't want to single myself into that little category. Because sometimes I like men, sometimes I like who I like. In my mind, I'm like, if you're fine, you're fine at the end of the day. But I do have a preference toward women, Black women, because Black women are the best. And then non-binary is like my gender identity. So like, I don't really see myself as a man or a woman. I'm just kind of like, I'm just me. I'm just a person. I'm just, you know. But at the same time, and people who are in my position understand this when I say like I'm also a Black woman. They're like, you're non-binary, but how are you also a Black woman? I'm like, because people going to see me as a Black woman. They're going to treat me as a Black woman. I'm always going to be viewed as one. And there's a privilege to being a Black woman. That's a privilege. So I was like, I exist as both. So I'm okay if people see me and view me as a Black woman. But I know, and my friends know, like I'm non-binary. So my pronouns are like they, she. So some of my friends use they more. I don't really care if people use she too. I know what I look like. I was like, nobody, they just think I'm a regular old girl the way I look with this makeup and stuff. So yeah, that's how I identify.
So how do you use they? Because at school us old people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I come from the era you either this or that.
Yeah.
There was no in between.
Yeah.
So how do you, if I want to talk to you, other than me calling you by your name, how do I say they when I'm talking about just you? Am I thinking about it wrong?
Like, no, you're not thinking about it wrong. I think a lot of people, because you use they anyway, but like people don't think, they think of it, they use it subconsciously. They don't use it like actively. So like if you see me over on the other side of the room, you'd be like, they got a big old butt. That's crazy. Like, they always wearing something purple, or their phone is the purple one, so it's kind of like, you do it anyway to people anyway. Like,
I'm still in that old she has a big old butt, with your ass do. But
but you know what? Somebody
he.
pointed that. No, but somebody pointed that out, the whole they thing. It was like a little segment on Instagram, and he was proving the point of using they and them.
Yeah.
And where it was like, oh, I do use they and them.
And it's subconscious.
It was brought to my awareness.
Yeah.
I was
it's
like,
very subconscious.
dang.
Like where, like you'd be like, where they at? Like they over there, Like,
yeah.
So it's kind of like, so Black people do it all the time, but they don't notice that they're doing it, because you're thinking about it. When you start thinking about it very specifically, you're like, oh, this is a specific person. So I'm thinking of singular, like the she or he or whatever. But a lot of times people also use they as like a singular one. But I think it's just, you got to like train your brain to do it. And I've had to do that because I have a lot of friends who use they, them pronouns. So my mom will be like, oh, what's her name? And I'm like, their name is da 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 da. And I'll do that. But I don't think she catches it. And it's already hard enough.
We're still a work in progress.
Yeah. I haven't even told my mom I'm non-binary. She don't know. I don't feel like explaining it. I don't think she's going to be mad about it. She's just not
like, okay.
Yeah, that's literally, she's going to be like, okay.
And then go back to what she's been doing. Okay.
That's what I told her when I came out. I was like, Mom, I'm pansexual, because that's what I thought at the time. I was like, I'm pansexual. And she was like, okay, I don't know what that is, but okay. Nobody believed me when I came out. Kitor, none of my friends, they didn't believe me.
Oh my God.
Until I started.
When did you know? Because I guess me, I don't judge, or I like people for who they are.
Yeah.
The gender is, I guess, can we say, fluid.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a deterrent.
Yeah.
I like person for who they are, who their person inside it. So how did you know when you that you were you liked everybody?
So I found out in college, which is crazy because I went to an all-girls school. And I think because in my middle school, I was like, they called me gay because it was because sometimes I say things out my mouth and I don't think about them before I say them. So I guess I said something. Yeah. So I said something and then somebody insinuated it being gay. So they were like, you're gay. And that kind of went on for like from middle school until very early in high school. But so in my mind, I was like, I was like, nope, I am not that. I will do anything to prove that I'm not that. But when I was in college, I took a class and it was like a trans identities class. So basically it was like talking about like being transgender, or like, we were studying that, but it was also just about people transitioning from one part of their life to another part of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that be your gender, whether it be your lifestyle, whether it be whatever. So we talked about that. And I was always like, I wasn't raised in a homophobic church. My parent, we didn't talk about homophobia in my household. Like my dad is homophobic, but he never taught me that. And so I was like, but I've never thought about it for myself. And my professor was like, what if you're being homophobic to yourself?
Mm.
And when I tell you, I was
Did
like,
the light bulb come on?
the light bulb came on. I walked out of that white classroom and I walked outside. I saw color for the first time for real. I was like, I started looking at everybody. I was like, do I think they're attractive? Do I think they're attractive? And there was this one person who worked in like one of the school restaurants, and I didn't know what their gender was. I didn't know if they were male, female, whatever. I just knew they were fine. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm a little on the fruity side.
Girl, you stupid.
And then, yeah, learning I was non-binary, that was just because I had a friend of mine who was non-binary and they explained it to me. And just being friends with them kind of helped me become more of the queer person I am today with that friendship. I'm not friends with them no more, but like I'm very glad about the lessons I was taught being friends with them. So
Now, growing up, because you're Jamaican roots,
yes.
and Jamaica has been known to be very harsh when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. Could you go home and still be your authentic self?
So the first time I went to Jamaica, when I realized I was out, it was during 2020. My aunt passed, and so we were going for a funeral. And I was like, I have to do everything I can so nobody will know that I'm gay. And y'all have seen what I wear. I dress feminine, like, and so I was like, I have to dress extra feminine, like nobody can know, you know. And it's crazy because I went to the country, saw my cousins, and my dad was like, "Oh, this is your cousin. This is Uncle Henry's daughter." And I looked at her, and I was in my mind, I was like, "That's a dyke." I was like, and she was like, "This is my friend." And I was like, "That's your girlfriend." In my mind, I didn't say it, but I was like, there are some, you know, masculine presenting women who are in Jamaica. I think it's not like it's frowned upon. Yeah. But I know, like, I'm out on my Instagram and stuff. Going further into it, my dad freaked out on me last month because he saw something about me posting my little sister. Back in November, I posted something about her on my story about saying like she's not beating the gay allegations because my sister kind of she looks like she's part of the rainbow community, and
you
so
see it,
yeah, and
yeah.
so and Kitori's talking about tell the story, yeah. So yeah, somebody from Jamaica screenshotted my story from back in November and shared it to my dad last month, and he came up and he was like, "Why would you post your sister on your story?" and da da da. And because I said something about being gay, he freaked out. So I told my dad I was gay last year because I just wanted, I don't know, I was just about that life that day, and I was like, I'm not about to hide who I am. And I was like, you know, I like women. You know, and he freaked out. You know, we had a whole debate going back and forth because I started.
How you gonna debate against what you like?
I don't know. He just kept saying, he was saying like it's a sin or whatever. And he was talking about different stuff from his own life. And he was like, you know, I don't know how this came up. But he was like, you know, back when I was younger, like, and I didn't know any better. Like I used to hit women and da da da. And I was like, how is your sin? You sinned. So how is my sin worse? Because you put your hands on somebody. I don't put my hands on nobody. You know, I just know
a sin is a sin.
Right. And my stepbrother is gay. So my stepbrother's gay. So I saw how they treated him. Because he came out way before I did. He knew when he was like, I knew when I met him for the first time. I knew he was gay. I think that's a little gay boy right there.
I mean, sometimes you can't see it in kids.
You can't. So I saw it in him very early on. So I knew. And so I saw he came out before me. So that's why I didn't want to come out, because
he caught all that smoke.
He caught all the smoke from my dad and my stepmom. My stepmom cares a little less about me because I'm not her child. But my dad, at one point with my stepbrother, he was like, well, that's not my child. That's your child. So my children aren't. But I was like, yeah, Dad. Yeah.
Like, guess what?
Guess what?
Surprise.
Yeah. So I think it'll be really hard if I ever go down to Jamaica with like a partner or something. And then because when I go to Jamaica, I've never lived like the full tourist experience, like a full, like being on a resort. I've been on a resort and stuff, but with my mom. But as an adult, like I want to go to a resort. I want to drink. I want to do stuff like that. And I also want to every so often go visit my cousins, because I'm there. I might as well go visit family. But I was like, it's going to be weird when I bring somebody I'm dating, because I tend to date more masculine presenting women and they look gay. You can look at them from a mile away and they look gay. So I was like, if I bring them with me, I'm like, I got to bring my straight friends too to kind of like balance it out. So it just looks like a girl group going.
That is hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, and it's like, it is outside of your family. Do
Mhm.
you feel like you're discriminated in 2023, even though we have progressed, but we
Mhm.
still not there yet? Do you feel like you get discriminated against because of your sexuality?
I think because people don't assume my sexuality when they see me, they probably
Mhm.
just assume I'm straight. I don't really get discriminated against, but I also don't put myself in situations around certain people who will discriminate against me.
Say more.
So since 2020, I kind of started really getting fully into my identity in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And so the people I have met and became friends with, they're all queer. Other than my two best friends I grew up with, they're straight, but everybody else, they're queer. And so even if we are discriminated against, we just understand each other and we're able to just be like, all right, we'll just keep moving. Because like some of my friends are non-binary, we're very femme presenting. And so people automatically assume like we're a bunch of girls. So, but we know that's how people see us. So we just kind of like, whatever, they don't know us. We just keep pushing. Because I don't get offended by stuff like that. Some people get offended
Mhm.
by stuff like that. But I'm like, how would people know? Everybody's kind of ignorant to each other until you tell them.
True.
I've definitely told men who've hit on me. I'm like, hey, I'm gay, or I have a girlfriend or whatever. And they're like, so
That's the same message.
they don't
They don't care.
They don't care at all. I'm like,
But you say you like men, so it's like, okay,
I like them
how
in
can I fit in?
theory. I like them in theory now. When I
What
was
is
in
that?
college, I mean, that's all I dated was men. I was a little bit of hoe in college, and and it was with men. I ain't started dating women until like 2019, and so I was like, I've been there, done that. I was like, do I need to go back and do it again? Probably not.
You been there, got the award.
Yeah, moved on, got the degree, graduated, like
Mastered it.
mastered it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't necessarily need to go back to that. Every so often I'll see a man, I'm like, I want to flirt with you a little bit, but other than that, like, I don't know if I want to get too far, because I'm like, that means I have to go to the bedroom, and I don't want to do that no more.
That is so interesting. That is terrible. Oh God. But hey, yeah.
So what are the struggles of, like I said, even though we're progressed, but we're still not there yet. So what are the struggles of someone that's out
Mm.
in this world at 2023? What do you think are struggles?
I was actually talking to somebody today, somebody I'm interested in, and she refers to me as a woman a lot. And I kind of reminded her today, I was like, I'm non-binary. Like, I was like, so being referred to as a woman always isn't like what I would prefer. If it's by like, older, straight, just folks, that are in my
people.
church. Yeah, the old folks, whatever. I don't really care. But I was like, I want you to acknowledge it as a person I'm interested in, because I want to be respected if we're going to date or anything. And I've definitely had times where, and in the community itself, there's a lot of like lesbians, or there's a lot of gay people who are like transphobic. So they have a problem with trans people. And then being non-binary is under that umbrella of being trans. And I definitely had somebody who I was cool with, and she was just talking about a random person one day. We were just sitting there. This event was letting out. It's a bunch of gay guys, and I think one of the people was a trans woman. And she was like, I don't understand that. Like, if you have a penis and you're just a guy, da da da. And I was like, not everybody is like that. And I was trying to explain it to her, and I was like, you wear boy clothes. Why are you talking about what other people do? I was like, people might think you're trying to be a boy because of what you wear and how you dress. And I've definitely had that issue. So it's really difficult, like when you're trying to go out and date and tell people certain things, but they don't believe you, or they just kind of see what they want to see. And I know just in general, like trying to get it through people's heads that like this is who I am, like especially with like men, like trying to tell them like I'm this way. I don't really want you. No does not mean no in some men's brains. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean no. Like I could be wearing I could have a rainbow flag tattooed on my forehead saying I'm gay, and they'll be like, "Hey ma, what's up? How you
Good
doing?"
challenge.
Yeah,
Can he turn you back straight?
it is a challenge, and I guess people like the chase. I love a chase, so I get it. But you know, at some points it's like just leave me alone. And I know a lot of people have issues with like churches and stuff because of that. Churches are notoriously homophobic.
Mhm.
And that's why I've been really irritated with my church because I'm like, we're not a homophobic church. We have gay ministers. We have at least 3 lesbian couples who are older lesbian couples who've been there for years. One of them met at the church. And I was like, you just have to tell people that we're like a very welcoming space. And then you'll get the young people that you want in the church. And they think I'm crazy. I think they just think I'm a little gay person running around just shouting rainbows everywhere. And I'm like, no, if y'all want young people in this church, listen to me, a young person. I'm one of the only people in my 20s in this church. There's like maybe 4 or 5 so often and like, you know, don't why spread hate or spread misinformation being more of them needs to learn like compassion.
Still don't understand.
It's
We
not
worried
bothering
about
nobody.
somebody that's not bothering you.
Yeah, like wearing it says worship the dolls, Chapel Beauty. So this is actually a all black, all trans cast of trans women who run it. And they're phenomenal. I know sometimes like they're wrong. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, they're just women just
Wrong
trying to
for
live their
what?
lives. Have
They living their life. They ain't got nothing to do.
right. And
Oh, they, you know, everybody's being safe. Nobody's harming anybody.
mhm.
Who cares?
Who cares? Honestly, at the end of the day, who really
Who
cares?
cares?
Like, come on. They're not a threat to your child unless you put them in a space where they're around people who do certain things. Like, they ain't no threat to your child. They don't care about your child. They're just gonna keep walking. You know,
Crazy.
crazy.
You got anything? You like?
Child, I'm just listening.
Oh, okay.
Because it's because it's well, maybe I do have something. So I have a
You always got some.
Yeah, how do you identify too?
I have a godson.
Mhm.
Shout out to Nala, and she is platforming drag, right?
Okay.
Loving her process. And so I'm always in support
Mhm.
because he's okay with me saying he
Mhm.
of him because of the journey he had to go through. And when it was deemed to be his godmother, right? I told my sister friend, I said, hey, however he come out, I'm gonna be with him.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
gonna rock it out. What saddened me on occasions when I see it was certain things she did not want him. Don't wear purple, at the time. Don't put the ring in the left ear. But as I saw his process coming into adulthood, I said, okay, there might be a possibility
Mhm.
that he likes the same sex.
Mm.
And for me, it was okay.
Yeah.
And so it had to be an acceptance on the part of the family. But I said, however he show up,
Yep.
I'm going to rock this shit out and I'm going to be his biggest cheerleader.
Yep.
And that was the one thing that he appreciated from me. Because he did not come out and I was the last person he came out to, but he understood that I already knew. And I was just like, okay. So I said, what you need me to do? Like,
Yeah.
what we doing? How we doing it? Like, how glamorous are we getting? And going to different events, seeing Nulla in her space, I realized, and what saddened me is that the same stuff that's happening on the bigger world. And when I say the bigger world, the overall world, the judgments, the limitations, the backstabbing, the being mean, it's still playing out in the LGBTQIA plus community. That's what made me sad.
Yeah.
Because I said the very persons, because now sometimes I say the nation of all people, because I'm just like, I ain't going to discriminate at me. Form in anything, whether I'm singing, whatever skill I'm using, whatever, if I'm coaching, if I'm singing, if I'm acting, whatever, it's championing for the freedom to be. Because that's what that's what I'm just demonstrating for myself. So how can I support another in doing that, whatever it is that they're going for?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. So I'm just like, I have to be a student right now because
That's
there's stuff to learn. And I don't necessarily want practicing as a nurse. There's the policies and procedures that I have to abide by. But at the same time, also respecting someone who may be a patient of mine and may identify as something different. It's all those different like gray areas. So that's what I can attribute at this point. But yeah.
that's all it is about being open and wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And that's good as their godmother, that you're able to see them as who they are and still love them. I was kind of the same way when I was entrusted being a godmother. I was like, I don't care what happened, what this child turns out, who they turn out to be, as long as they're a good person, that's all that matters at the end of the day. I was like, I love this child. I love them when they was in the womb. You know what I'm saying? Like I ride for my baby who got his arm stuck in a chair today. I don't care like how it goes. And they actually have a book. I read to him a book, and it was like it was about a little black boy who wants to be a mermaid. Which is also so important because The Little Mermaid just came out. You know, and it was like this little black boy wants to be a mermaid, and his grandmother was like, you know, as long as you be who you are, you know,
be who you are. And
Yeah.
there is peoples out here that'll be mermaids. I was like, there's a documentary on Netflix. I'm not promoting or anything, but I was like, this is lovely. Folks are energetically speaking. I'm gonna take it energetically, not it might be spiritual, but you know, in some sense, there are no, you know, there's no limitations, right?
There's none.
We are fluid. You know, if people were to open their mind, and when we come into the space, it doesn't matter the faith. I'm not coming from a faith or a religion. I'm coming from a place of observation and energy and vibration. We come here in a package. You know, whatever the DNA comes together, and it's like, hey, you're gonna express like this. And so, but once we're released from this space of this package, we have no form other than what is, right? And so to hear fluid, for example, I'm like, okay, I can dig that. Or hearing non-binary, okay, that kind of makes sense. So for me, when I do hear those terms, I feel like there's something abreast to where people are going back to which they came from.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't bother me because I'm just like, well, energetically or spiritually, they just talking from the universe. So, and the universe is speaking. So especially when dialogue between energy or non-binary, and then also in correlation with water. Because right now people talking about being mermaids in water and this. And I said, it's just the universe telling us what we are.
Yeah.
So, and I'll leave it at that because, you know, people be like, Denell crazy. No, I ain't crazy.
No, you are, but not on this subject. let's be clear.
Like, what is no? Because for example, in one of my meditations, it kept saying to me, you know, you're water, you're fluid, you're water, you're fluid, and yet 2/3 of your body is water. I just read a book called The Message from Water. Y'all, if y'all can read this, please. And I might be butchering the title, but give it, you know, whatever walk of life you're coming from, take it for what it is. But it talks about us coming in as 90% water. And as we move through life, you know, we come 2/3 water. And we talk about this in nursing and science and health. And by the end of life, and as we're transitioning, we're like half the percentage of like, or 50% of water, but we're walking water. And I wasn't going to say that earlier, but now I'm just like, you know, we're walking water. Anyway, I'm going into another context, but that's my shit for right now because I'll keep talking. So yes, so I'm learning right now. I'm being a student.
So we're gonna forego our music because this is a great conversation. Is again, and we touched on something that was actually part of my hot topics. So Target has lost $10 billion in the market valuation over the last 10 days as a popular retailer. You know, they continue to face that backlash over the Pride themed clothing line for children. So online, the pictures that I saw of the clothing, they were like, so like some of the dresses were multi-color blocks of rainbows, some like captions like "just be yourself," and then I saw a T-shirt that says "trans people will always exist." So are we tolerant up until we talking about kids or kids clothing?
At the end of the day, there are going to be kids who have queer, gay, trans, bisexual parents, whatever, and they're going to put them in whatever they want to put them in at the end of the day. And they've been doing that for years. People just now, major retailers doing it. So I think people always are like, cool, LGBTQ, but until it gets to kids. But some kids know early on. You know, I talk to people all the time and they're like, my first crush was somebody I saw on TV when I was a kid, you know, and I probably was the same way, but I didn't realize it was a crush until years later. But a lot of them,
Your middle school kind of traumatic. They blocked all that,
right? They blocked all that out, and a lot of kids know, like sometimes they know they're trans as little as like 3-4 years old. So I think they're trying to like preserve the kids, but it's like you're trying to preserve them into what you think is normal, which is like heterosexuality. But these kids need to know early on that I'm okay with who I am. Like it's okay for me to be gay, but you won't know it until you tell them that. And if they're like, well, I'm not gay, it's like, okay, whatever. Then be whoever you want to be. But I think people are trying to shelter their kids from it. But there is no sheltering being who you are at the end of the day.
I get into a discussion with folks when they say, well, all you see on TV is just nothing but gay stuff. But it's like, if you look at the other side, when most of the TV was just heterosexual stuff, nobody can force you to be gay, even regardless. I look at it as like, if you're with, I think you'd be more open, but you can't force somebody to like the same sex if they don't like them.
Right.
You can't do it.
You can't force somebody to do nothing they don't want to do.
Even because it's like, if like people talking about same-sex parents. I think it'd probably be easier if the same-sex parents had the opposite of the gender of the child. To me, it might be a little bit easier for the child, because then they see some difference. But at the end of the day, you can't. A boy can't be gay if he ain't gay.
Yeah.
A girl can't be gay if she ain't gay. If she don't like female, you can't, just because you see it, you can't force it, because it's like, okay, well, if you put them in that lifestyle, they're gonna be that. But what about you got heterosexual parents and have a gay child? They were in a heterosexual environment,
right?
But they still like the same sex. So it can't be, it can't be, it's the same thing.
It's level. Here is the compassion, because you talked about compassion earlier, right? And if everybody could we just sprinkle some like pixie dust and just be like, okay, compassion.
Mind your business with each other.
Right. But it gets down to everybody's level of belief and what they're willing to accept or not. And most people, we are walking ideas.
Yeah.
Never challenged. And then here comes somebody who challenges our idea, and then we got to hold on tight to it if it don't make sense. And that's where the missed opportunity is. Because it might be a possibility that the belief that you have, you can maintain or you can expand it. It don't have to be your way all the time. And that's where I feel like there is trepidation, because we can just...
she don't sprung a word. What?
Oh, trepidation.
Oh, wait a minute.
No. I'm sorry. There could be deceit. Where you're lying to yourself and lying to another. It's just like, I know I tread lightly, but I'm going to ask this question, because we talked about trans and people transitioning, right? And where I've heard those who are considered straight or cis, so please correct me if I'm wrong, where the challenge is the lying aspect. And not saying cis people don't lie, but it's where here someone presents as the sex they identify, and they're not the original. Does that make sense? Am I saying?
So I'm trying to figure out the question in it.
So the question is, how do you address that?
So somebody's lying about being trans, or
so for example, someone who was originally a boy transitions to a girl.
Oh, and
they present they're a girl, and then it's just like, I am a girl.
Yeah,
fine. But when it crosses the line for some people who are considered cis, is that they are not aware. When is the point of sharing that? And I feel like that's where there's breakdown. And where I hear about trans being killed.
Yeah.
Again, it might be for multiple reasons why I don't take anything. It's just like, I'm not saying just like the Black and white race. At some point in our culture or in our history, it didn't take nothing for somebody Black to die, right? So the breakdown.
Yeah.
So when is it that we address that breakdown? Because I don't want any more trans people to get hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't want nobody taking somebody out because there's a falsification or the belief system that they have is challenged. And it's people, we want to hold on to that belief. And so therefore lash out and I kill someone.
So I was actually just watching a episode of Criminal Minds, and it was called Machismo, basically the masculinity. And I think for certain people in certain cultures, especially in like Black culture or like Latino culture, there's something about somebody being a man, and being a man means sometimes like you like being with a woman, that's part of what makes you a man.
The posture.
Right.
Yeah.
The posture, the who you are. And so I think when a man falls for a trans woman or likes a trans woman, it like hits his ego a little bit, because it's like, I don't like men, but it's like you have to see them as who they are. They're women, and you like the way they look because they're pretty, they're beautiful, or however you see it. And I think people are like, well, I don't want to be tricked or and that's what the conversation I had with one of the person who I was talking to was transphobic. She was like, I know a trans woman who like goes and tricks men and and they have sex with her and they don't know. I was like, do you know how oblivious you have to be to have sex with somebody and not look at their genitals at all, or not look at them naked or in the light? I was like, you know how oblivious you have to be? Or and there are some people in general in the world who lie, no matter if you're cis, trans, straight, gay.
Very much
there are
so.
people who lie in general.
Correct.
True.
But in general, most trans women don't tell people that they're trans initially when they first meet them, because of the fear of being attacked or harmed or killed. And so it gets to the point where like, oh, I go on like 2 dates with you so I can kind of
test the water.
Test the word, to get a sense of how you are a little bit before I disclose something like that to you. Because most people say you don't need to disclose that to anybody until you're about to have sex with them. And sometimes people already know and they don't care. But at the end of the day, I think like if you like a trans woman, it does not change your sexuality, because in your mind you see a woman and that's who she is. She's a woman. That doesn't make you not straight. No matter, because there's even people who are intersex, which means that they're born with male and female. They're kind of like when it comes to their chromosomes or DNA, whatever it is, that they're intersex. So they kind of like are the both a little bit. But usually when they're children, they kind of like alter their body enough to where it's like, okay, we're gonna make you just a boy because you're more like a boy, or we're gonna make you a girl because you're more like a girl. So we're just gonna, change you that way. And so, and you wouldn't know that, because if you see an intersex person, they may look like both. They may look like a man or a woman. There's some people who kind of look gender blind anyway. Like I wouldn't know just by looking at you.
So what you're explaining is what used to be termed as hermaphrodite.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. That's what
there's an associate.
Yeah, that's what intersex is.
With them big word, but I knew what that was.
Yeah. So that's what people used to refer to it as. So now,
no, because this This is like opportunity. I appreciate when there is an education moment, because really
I had to learn a lot.
But this dialogue, this can happen, right? In every scenario and situation, if people are willing to dialogue, listen, conscious listening, conscious sharing. So anyway, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I sidebarred, but yeah.
No, you're good. And I don't think for I'll say 96% of trans women, their intention is not to trick anybody.
They just want to be loved like
they
everybody
just want to
else.
be loved like everybody else. And I will be on this hill, I think, till the day I die. I will ride for Black trans women, because the reason why, and I kind of wanted to mention this a little bit when you said about the Target thing and about Pride. Everybody sees Pride as a celebration. And a lot of people say Pride started as a riot. It started as like people rioting to be who they are. Like historically, Stonewall was a club in New York where a lot of like queer people used to go to, trans people, gay people, and the police would always harass them over and over and over again. Until one day the police came and harassed them, and they were like, nah, F this. We're going to fight back, because, and they were throwing bricks and they were throwing things and they were fighting back with the police. And it started as a thing. And one of the people who was the main like person who was a big advocate was Marsha P. Johnson, who's a Black trans woman who was murdered. And a lot of people, we say all the time, we would not have Pride without Marsha P. Johnson. These little gay boys, these little white gay boys especially, wouldn't be able to run around with their little rainbow flags if it wasn't for a Black trans woman dying, and so people always want to discredit them and treat them terribly. But it's like, if it wasn't for them advocating for you, and who you are, you wouldn't be where you are today. Like you would still be getting kicked out the military. You would still be getting fired from your job if it wasn't for these people sacrificing their, like literally their lives in a way of like, you know, because they had to be out and proud and open. And there was another one, Sylvia, I can't think of her last name. She was a Latino trans woman. And I remember at one of the parades, like she went and she was shouting. She was like, why don't you all care about me? She was like, why do you discriminate against me when you're supposed to be with me? And they were booing her. They were straight up booing her because, and it was, these were other gay people booing her.
So why were they booing her?
Because I guess because she was a trans woman of color and they didn't want to listen to her. And then she was like, you know, she's like, I can't pay my rent. I can't eat. I don't have anywhere safe to sleep. And you all want to boo me. And so, you know, and you know, New Yorkers, they're a whole different breed too. She was a New Yorker too.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, nobody asks to be this way. If it was easier to just wake up and be heterosexual or whatever, like, you know, some people would choose that life because they're like, it'll be easier for me to live my life this way. But for me, I love it. I love being queer. And I'm so glad that the people who came before me were able to make those certain strides for me to be comfortable where I am. And that's why I was glad that even in my church, there were queer people I could go to and I could say, hey, like I'm queer. And they're like, all right, we still love you. We've loved you since you were a child and we're going to keep loving you. So I think that's something that a lot of people need to realize is that at the end of the day, you got to give them compassion and you got to stop thinking that they're the enemy or they're different. Like they're your brother, your cousin, your whoever grew up down the street from, like somebody I went to high school with. We were talking about it. And he transitioned after high school and I saw him on a dating app and I was like, I saw him and I was like, I know that face, but it was a guy. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. I was like, I remember you from high school. I was like, this is not surprising at all. And the people I know who transition into trans men, I'm like, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's who you were. Yeah. And you're just kind of playing a facade. So I think it's lying when they don't show who they are.
Correct.
That's the real lie because you're lying to yourself. And if you're lying to yourself, you're lying to everybody else as well.
Yeah.
There's so many forms of lying. So yeah.
I was just thinking of when you talk about high school, I remember the guys that I used to run with, you know, I didn't know they was gay. They was fun. And I really didn't until after, you know, we were adults and they're like, ah,
yeah.
When they came out, I was like, ah, because they, you know, when you're talking about facade, they got the girlfriends and, you know, they, but they like to sleep at each other's house. I did not put two and two together. Yeah. I had no clue.
There was a guy who went to the all boys school and we all knew he was gay. We were like, man, we know you're gay. Like, and he would get the girls. He slept with one of the girls who, you know, was a little promiscuous. And like, but we all knew, we were like, man, we know you're gay and like we don't care. And he did not say anything. He was like, no. And then after high school, he came out and he got so many followers on Twitter now. Like he like kind of is now like very big. Like you loved Barbara Streisand back in high school. That's not the gayest thing. I don't know what is. And I was like, if you came out earlier, and you could be as big as some of these influencers now. He could have been like bigger than Bretman Rock if he came out in like high school. But at the time, you know, he went to an all boys school in the hood. Like, why would you tell anybody that you're gay? Yeah. You know? Yeah. And yeah, we went to school. Our school was in Bankhead, in the heart of Bankhead.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So why would you tell anybody?
Yeah.
And we talked about that because alumni, I see one of the people in my group, alumni for an all-girls school is alumni or alumni. I think it's alumni. It's a little it's a little different. Yeah. We had a teacher, whatever. And so it's alumni. And one of the girls was like, hey, you know, is it okay that we say alumni, even though there's some people in our class who don't identify as women anymore? And I was like, you know what? They know what kind of school they went to. It's an all-girls school they went to. We know what it is. I was like, we can't be mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I was like, if somebody came up and told us like they feel some type of way, then we'll make the adjustments and change it to alumni or whatever. But yeah, it's a growing process and it's a learning process. And that's all I think people want is just give us an opportunity to teach you a little bit. Even if you can only take a crumb today, take another crumb 2 weeks from now, and then continue with them crumbs till you make a whole loaf of bread. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Might take a while, but as long as you get there.
Right, as long as you get there.
As long as you get there.
Right.
But yeah, when you think about it, because it's like, I think one of my first concerts was Patti LaBelle. I went with my best friend. It's like, what straight dude like Patti LaBelle? Like
Exactly.
when you think about it.
Exactly.
Donna Summers and
Yeah.
and the two individuals you spoke of, it was a Netflix documentary on Marsha and Sylvie.
Mhm.
It was really informative.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I would say for people, if they want to learn, especially about like when people get confused about like drag queens and like and voguing, like Madonna made voguing popular.
She did.
Watch Paris is Burning on Netflix. It's a great documentary. I've watched it like 3 times. I'll probably watch it again.
okay.
But it teaches you a lot about ballroom culture, and it specifically talks about how Black people made certain dances and certain things and all these things cool and kind of built it from the ground up. It was a way for people to find community. And I think it's very nice now how it's easier to find community outside of like ballroom.
Mhm.
I found a lot of different like queer groups and queer people that I'm like, I can walk into a space and I feel safe. Like the party I said I went to on Saturday, I left my drink downstairs with my phone. And I asked somebody, can they go get it? And they were like, do you trust your drink being left like alone? Because your drink was left alone. And I said, yeah, I trust. I don't even know some of these people in this party, but I trust that nobody in here has any ill intent to try to drug me
Mhm.
or take me somewhere. If I went to a regular club in Atlanta, I won't feel like that.
Yeah.
But in that place, I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
you know, there were I don't think there was any like cisgender men there anyway. And even
Interesting.
and then even if somebody did slip something to my drink, somebody would say something.
Right.
Somebody would be like, cuss them out, get out of here. Like, yeah. So
Like safety. Like
Yeah.
community and safe.
it's
Yeah.
about safety, truly. I love the environments I'm in now where I feel safe.
That's good.
I can't wait to see some of my folks today. They're so gay. They're so incredibly. I'm like, I want to call them every slur in the book sometimes just because it's funny to me, but in a loving, endearing way.
Right. I was like,
it's like when you call your friend or like a nigga, like it's like it's a very loving, endearing way. Like,
And I use that word quite often.
yeah. We know.
Too damn much.
Everybody can get it. But such a great conversation.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that. It's 1:00. You said you was gonna do something.
It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why I got a dip too. Yeah, but I appreciate it being here.
This is
For real.
yummy. No, I hope this goes out into the universe and
Mhm.
just speaks to people that may not hear or
Mhm.
cannot hear, and it resonates.
Yep.
So combo.
I do have one of them real ass question of the day ones though. Can we get my theme music?
We're gonna get your theme music.
We're gonna take it. We're gonna move it on so we can get closer to closing out. So I know you guys got shit to do. Like I say, I always got shit to do. So you go out to this new corn dog on a stick restaurant, right? Where they dip the corn dog into your favorite sauce, right? So now what's different with this is the server, he dips it in, gets on this ladder, sticks it in your mouth while he's gyrating like you're giving head.
No, please, no.
Oh boy.
Now I actually seen this on IG. Would you do it? I mean, he dips it in, gets nice and drippy and shit. He got up there and he's like, and he's just jamming in her mouth.
I'm gonna let you go first.
No.
I mean, shit coming all
No,
down here. I mean,
no,
she just
no.
taking it. She taking it all. Oh, she was taking it all.
I've seen videos like that where like they make food a sexual experience and they do that a lot on TikTok. I'm like, give me my food. Like I want to eat it the way. Why are you shoving it down my throat? Like I don't even like.
Is it staged? Because now a lot of stuff I
know,
see
that
is
was
staged.
Like, that was a restaurant.
Is it?
That was a
Like
restaurant.
I saw something and it was like at the Renaissance Fest and it was like somebody, I think she was like, it was alcohol, like when she was pouring in somebody's mouth and she's like it was a white girl doing to another white girl and she's like, open your mouth, you little filthy whore, da 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 da. And I was like,
Ooh.
if you don't just give me my drink, I'm like,
peace.
and especially if it's a white person, I'm like, What? I don't understand why people do that. I think for some people, it lives out a little fantasy for them. For some people, yeah, I'm not one of them people.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a lot of men like feeding women, like, and it's a lot of straight women. I'm like, why hasn't your man touched you the way he needs to? Because clearly that's what you're seeking with this person feeding you food this way. It's like,
what was I know Kion was like, what the fuck? when he didn't gyrate when he fed it to the dude took it like he like
This is coming.
I mean, he was like, oh, like really getting into it. Now he didn't gyrate like he did with the woman, but he's like,
oh,
I gotta see this.
I remember when people were going off in that video about this guy, and like it was like a mimosa, like they were squirting mimosa like into the guy's mouth or whatever. And he had his mouth open. He was just swallowing it as like, you're squirting the mimosa
down.
And he was going. Like he was,
he was.
And people were like, oh my God, that looks so gay. And the guy was like, well, I am gay. I was like, I'm sorry if that man knows how to just,
how to swallow
like a normal person. Look,
but they be taking notes.
But I say, meanwhile, me, right? The girlfriends need to be taking notes, because meanwhile, me, I would have drowned. I would have like, stop it.
I don't know. That is just weird. Some things is just like, I don't want the attention. I don't
like that. Yeah. But that's
I
me.
would have watched though. I ain't gonna even lie. I damn sure would have watched, but I was like,
well, if you want to do it, yeah, I'll watch you.
No, I didn't. She wants to. I didn't say I was gonna do it. I said I would have watched.
Entertainment.
Right.
This is Caradone Entertainment.
Exactly.
They want to be entertained.
Yeah.
Now, Kion, if you'd have walked in and I'm getting it's a corn dog.
He would have smacked that thing to the other side of the room.
I'm finna fuck you up. I'm finna fuck him up too. The only gyrating going on around here
But
is me
that's his
gyrating,
job.
goddammit.
I mean, he got
his
the
job
leg
is.
up and everything. He was just like,
I don't give a fuck. If you allow another man to gyrate in your mouth, regardless of what he
wasn't
uses,
touching.
it don't matter. If he gyrating in your mouth, regardless of what he using,
Oh, God.
you ain't for me.
He said, not my wife.
Not mine. Not mine. Not mine. Not at all.
Somebody else's, but not mine.
Yeah, and I was like, you had to watch that a couple of times. Like, is that it? And I mean, she was taking it too. I mean, she was taking it. I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, she was like, and then shit was just coming down the juices or whatever that sauce.
She was taking somebody else probably really enjoyed
I
that.
think her husband was standing behind her watching her do
No,
that.
it was a bunch of girls. I didn't see a guy.
Oh, it was one where I seen a dude doing the same thing, and her dude was standing behind her,
Okay, I might have
watching
just
her
missed
do
that.
that shit.
But he might be into it. He's like,
I think some men will enjoy watching that.
Yeah.
No, I would enjoy.
Not you, but
let's get that straight.
I can't see another man doing something like that to my wife.
I can hear
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes. There's a clip of Busta Rhymes because some girl had like tried to grab him or whatever, and he was like on stage, and he a real nigga, right? And he goes, "I'll fuck your wife." And it was the man. He was standing beside. He was like, "Why are you not protecting her? Because I'll fuck her." And I was like, I was kind of taken aback, but I hear Busta Rhymes in my head saying that as this guy is gyrating and the guy is sitting in the back.
Like, she wanted it, I give it to her.
Yeah. I mean, he was just saying I'll do it, like, and not have no fucks about it. You know what I'm saying?
None.
Don't care at all. Like, I was like, dang, yo.
But yeah, I wanted to just get y'all thoughts on that. I was like, I had to watch that a couple of times. I was like, wait a minute, now it's getting weird. Now it's getting real weird. So let me move on. But I was trying to figure out, what is that? The sauce? I mean, it looked like some cheese. I don't know. It was
Like, how do you enjoy that? I mean, like, I'm trying to
I don't understand that either. I mean, it was an actual restaurant. He had different sauces there, and he was behind. He came up there with his leg. He got.
Why are you dipping a corn dog in sauce? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
Well, it looks like a corn. I don't know what that was, but it looked like a corn dog. But he just
It was
dipped it
something
in.
phallic shaped.
He dipped it in and
phallic.
make sure it was nice and drippy.
It just drip away.
And just shoved it in her mouth, and she was taking it.
Oh my God, that is terrible. That's like, go to the bedroom with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think I will literally fuck somebody up doing that. I can't see now if it comes down to it, I'll let my wife have her fun, but it wouldn't be with a dude, it would be with a woman. But
Oh my God.
ain't no goddamn way, even if she was to do it with a man, ain't the mouth part and no, not
Her
happening.
face is killing me right now.
It ain't it? You see his face?
She's like,
No.
I'm not doing that.
I'm just saying. It's not happening.
As Kanye goes zero black. Like, it's
Right.
just like, "Urgh."
Cause he know goddamn well.
What?
He gonna be like, you need to get up now. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
He would be open to the woman, but any dude, he ain't trying to see that shit.
No, because
He ain't trying
I
to
know
see that.
goddamn well oral sex will be a part of the sex, and you're not doing that because I ain't kissing
You
your ass
ain't
no
trying
more.
to see none of that with another dude.
Also,
Period.
that corn dog is probably at least $40, and that experience is probably $60. Why? Why would I pay $40 for a corn dog that you just gonna shove in my mouth? I don't understand that.
I need to be able to chew it first.
Right? I want to enjoy
Oh no,
it.
she was like, I mean, she was taking it.
That motherfucker was fucking with her tonsils.
I bet that shit was soggy.
And he
Ugh.
was turning it. I'm telling you, he was giving it to her, and he, like I said, he was moving the body as he was doing it. He was giving it to her.
Oh my
extra.
And then the dude, when he took it, he's like,
And then,
I was like-
and mind you, the guy who's shoving it in her mouth, he gay.
Yes, just
Yeah.
going to town, yo.
that was
Oh,
crazy, man. I
man.
thought I'd just get y'all opinion on it. I said, we gotta ask this question.
That's funny. That's funny, man. Mm. Exactly.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead on into our Black History Week. All right. So every week we recognize and celebrate the achievements and contributions African Americans have made to this country. It's Black Music Month and Pride Month. So this week we want to celebrate Sylvester James Jr., aka Sylvester. Sylvester was an American singer known for his flamboyant appearance, falsetto singing voice, and his hit disco singles in the late 1970s and 80s. He gained stardom when he released his disco hit, You Make Me Feel. He was known as the Queen of Disco and inducted into the Dance Hall of Fame. Ensong did an episode of him, and there was an off-Broadway musical, Mighty Real, a fabulous Sylvester musical on his life. So, Sylvester, we salute you for your contributions to making this country great.
Woo.
All right.
Thanks, Sylvester.
Mhm.
I don't know if y'all know. Did y'all know that?
I don't, but
Okay,
I'm gonna Google him.
I know
Yes, please.
I know him because my voice instructor introduced me to him, because there was a season in my life where I was hanging out with nothing but gay men.
Mhm.
And at the time they were like, "You're considered a fag hag." I said, "Okay."
That's what they call him. They,
It was a beautiful fair, because I was just like, I think I had the best treatment from a guy other than my brother and my dad. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, okay.
Yes, best
Great music.
great music. You know, he was with when I remember this from the episode. What's that? 2 Tons of Fun,
Mhm.
which they're known now as the Weather Girls. Was his background singer?
Oh,
Mhm.
Weather Girls. It's raining, man.
Yeah, Martha Wash.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to, I know he's gone. He's been gone for a long time.
R.I.P.
But yeah, shout out to Mr. Sylvester. So before we close, we need to pay some bills.
Mm.
So here's a word from our sponsor. Terradome Entertainment. We turn your fear of dreaming into amazing realities. If your dream is to become a photographer, we have a nice intimate photo studio just for you. If you want to record that next hit song or do voiceover work, we have a state-of-the-art studio also for you. If you want to professionally record your own podcast, well, we have that too. Check us out at www.terradomeentertainment.com. We are the only ones to turn your fear of dreaming into amazing realities. All right. Shout out to dude over there, producer extraordinaire for some of those beats. And that is our show. If you have any questions or comments, email us at info@terradomeent.com. That's info@terradomeent.com. Any final words? We'll start with DJ Talented.
Love yourself regardless of what somebody else has to say.
Period.
There you go.
Mhm.
Miss Denell.
Always stay true to yourself. Do never betray yourself for another.
There you go.
Mhm.
Final words, Miss Jamaya.
Pay Black trans women. Give them your coin. They deserve it. Yes.
And she said that and dropped that mic.
Period.
All right. The real last quote of the day. The worst form of slavery is when you live your life seeking the opinions and approvals of others. Be the master of your own life. Live your dreams unapologetically. There we go.
Mhm.
So join us live every Saturday at noon for the Power Hour with the Real As People Society crew here on the Terradome Entertainment Radio. And catch the replay of this show and other shows on terradomeent.com or on all your major podcast apps. And of course, you can hit us up on IG at Power Hour _raps_crew. I am your president, Ms. Entertainment. You can contact me at MIZZ_entertainment_ATL or Power Hour _raps_crew. Chief Entertainment Officer,
DJ Talented _1 on Instagram.
Miss Denell.
Oh, at Denell Porchè. At Denell Porchè only on Instagram. Only.
We just glad she finally back. Anyway, Miss Jamaya.
At Jamaican Vibe on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
There you go. And I leave you all with this as always. Be kind to each other. Love one another. Keep God first. Thanks for joining. Stay safe, and we're out. We're off.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This was so good.